here we are. In the bottom left, you're looking at the main base of the red Protoss player. He is for Alpha X. One of the hot new talents, Zoun. And of course, his opponent in the upper right, the former world champion, tearing and cleaving a path through the Protoss players here available this evening. He is, for the Rebellion, Byun. So again, Byun has had a fantastic run this evening. He's killed Parting. He killed, shoot. He killed another really good Protoss that I cast. Gerald. Yeah, he killed Gerald 2-0. Yeah, he's had PvT from like the round of 16 onwards. And he's just been bibbity-babbity-boppity. Your place is my property. He keeps moving on, but this is probably going to be his hardest test. I mean, Parting, of course, has like, I don't know, it's probably number 2 win rate in the world now, in history now in PvT. Is I think Trap is, especially after what Trap did to Maru, I think Trap has overcome that slightly in like historical PvT win rate, but still, top 2 win rate in a matchup, nothing to shake a stick at. So we're gonna have to see what Byun opts to do in these games. Now, game number 1, he is going for a 1-1 into a command center type of opening, keeping everything on the high ground, of course, just to keep Zoun guessing. I have to see whether that works on out for him. This means it's most likely going to be Hellions. We see the reactor, we see the factory. He did this to Gerald in game number 1, but also remember in that game number 1, it was 2 Hellions into a much more standard kind of bio push. The Hellions were there. They tried to find some value. I don't think they got all that much, but at the very least, they were just there to do something, right? They were there to present this idea that Byun was going to get more aggressive than he was. That, coupled with, of course, the high ground command center, really gave that idea. Now, Zoun in this game, he's going for a Stargate opener, which I really do like against pretty much any possible opener that Byun can go off of this. Yeah, he might go for a +1 stim combat shield timing that hits at 730, but he's not going to hit before then. And with that being the case, well, Hellion drops, they get, you know, slapped aside by Phoenix. Any sort of like early pressure that's not 20 Marines at 4 minutes, Phoenix do a really good job of dealing with that. So really great strategic decision here from Zoun, as he just really, the two players are, for the most part, they're feeling each other out at this point. This is only game number 1. There are 5 potential games in this series, minimum of 3. So, you know, even if you do lose a game, it's not the end of the world. You can figure it out. And sometimes it is absolutely worthwhile to go and say, yeah, I need to figure out what my opponent wants to play like. Is he feeling tired and aggressive? Is he just feeling really confident? I don't know. But I do know is, okay, so Byun has gone into quad heli in this game. This is not what we saw earlier. And okay, Zoun is going to scout. This is Hellions are, excuse me, his Phoenix are running on home. He does have 2. He's going to have a 3rd out by the time these Hellions look to hit. And we should see a full-scale wall as well. But here's the thing. You know what Byun has done by showing these Hellions, by just running them across the map, doing all that, and that Reaper grenade will not be successful. He has prevented Zoun from getting a scout of his main base. That's the big deal because, you know, look, Banshee Cloak is underway. And theoretically, with Banshee Cloak, against the Stargate opener, well, you're not going to be able to do a whole lot. But these Phoenix, once again, they're going to be forced back home as the Adepts, they're shading on the other side of the map. These, all these Hellions, okay, that is actually a full wall, but now the Adepts, they're going to find their way on over. 3 Adepts, of course, 1-shot SCVs. Viking's going to have to get landed here. But certainly for a while, Zoun is going to be able to deny all of the mining in the main base, or excuse me, in the natural of Byun. Byun already losing 2 workers, and yeah, eventually this is going to get cleaned down up. The Cyclone, the Vikings, yeah, they're going to be annoying. That being said, yeah, this Banshee, excuse me, is not going to get found out. But okay, wait, are they going to cross paths? I think they are. Oh, do they see it? They do. There we go. So the Banshee's going to cloak on up, but that tells Zoun everything he needs to know. This early warning, A, it means a lot of energy on this Banshee has been used. So it's not going to have a lot of energy to cloak. B, oracles are forced. He knows he needs to get an oracle. He's not going to lose things to that initial poke, right, where the Banshee flies in. And you're like, oh god, I don't have detection. So this Banshee is on 8 energy. It's going to run out of things rather soon indeed. How many kills does he get before it runs out of energy and just gets murked? Answer is 2. Oracles on out, which means it doesn't even matter. Cloak is not a thing. And Zoun, he's in a great spot here. He lost 2 workers, but that's fine. Byun has committed a lot to this. He committed to 4 Hellions, got nothing done. He committed to the Reaper, got nothing done. He committed to the Banshee. You guessed it, it got nothing done. So now Zoun, we have him here on 4. Phoenix, he's going up to 5. He may go up to 7 or 8. He may stop at 5. We're going to have to see just how much he wants to do. But the interesting thing is he is going to go for a Glaive Adept bust out of this. This is something that we used to see when Adepts were broken as hell, right? Right at the start of Legacy of the Void. You go Phoenix to establish some control, to lift up any sort of important tech units, and you just get a lot of Glaive Adepts. And you say, Terran, try not to die. And the Terran would say, oh god, I can't. That being said, this is not a build that we see nearly as often anymore. Oh, that's going to be a free Cyclone. There we go. Free Cyclone. Or not. And there we go. The Gateway actually is going to get scattered on out here. So that's actually really important. Byun now knows that Zoun is interested in getting aggressive. He doesn't know what it is, but he knows it's something. He knows there's Phoenix out on the map. And considering the amount of Phoenix and considering there is an aggressive Gateway there, he's going to probably assume that this is maybe some sort of Glaive Adept option. Maybe it's charge, but you don't really see charge lot all-ins with Phoenix. You see charge lot Phoenix a thing, but you don't necessarily see that as all-ins as much, and that's kind of what Zoun is doing here. As he's up a lot of workers, but he's not really taking gases at his 3rd or even partially at his natural. He's just going to look to shade on in here and look to punish Byun immediately for the type of game that Byun looked to play. But now we're going to see the Adepts look to shade on and just get on top of this army. I mean, yeah, there is a bunker. That is something. Now, with the Phoenix going to go on in, drawing the Widowmine shots on top of all of these SCVs. They're all so gosh darn low. We're going to see all the tech get lifted. But this is, I mean, it's a lot of wounded SCVs, not a lot of dead SCVs. And that repair was fantastic. Byun is going to weather that storm. But there's 6 more Adepts where that came from. And even if you heal up all of these SCVs, which, sure, maybe, that's a lot of energy. It means the rest of this bio army is not going to survive all of that along. So the Adepts going to shade on top of things here. The Widowmine shots are going to be really nice once again. And Byun's starting to hold, right? We're seeing Adepts go on in. They're getting some workers. But 5 workers is not what you're looking for here in this game. Absolutely not. And with the missile turrets as well, Byun was not in a good spot. Right, he committed so heavily to that aggression and got slapped aside, didn't get anything done. And now, I mean, look at how hard we have Zoun committing to this thing. That's just not really working. Although it looks like the Phoenix are starting to find some value on the other side of the map here. 8 total workers will go down, but that's a lot of Phoenix. Only 2 Phoenix left on the map. So the Phoenix are not really going to be a thing. I loved the Widowmine drag, right? That really looked like it might have been the tipping point, but because Zoun was just A-moved and he was not getting the SCVs down, it was just a bunch of Adepts trying to kill a bunker. And we saw how well that worked. It doesn't work. But Zoun is up 20 workers. And he is developing his tech, right? He is on 6 gas now. He has Blink underway. He's got +1 underway. He's got his Robo-Bait done. He's going to start being able to build Colossus. But Byun is not giving him time for any of that. Triple drop on into the main base. Byun, we saw him do this in previous games. He's going to target fire. He's going to cancel +1 once again. Again, taken after his former teammate Pult. This is like the third or fourth time that we've seen him do this in this series. Or sorry, in this day. And yeah, this drop is dead. This drop is not going to be allowed out of here with the Phoenix that we have. But still, denying that +1, depowering a lot of stuff, killing a lot of army. That's worthwhile. Actually, the drop will be allowed to get on out here. So these Widowmines are just really annoying. These Adepts can't fight them all that well. So Byun's starting to swarm as his rallies looking to move on. And that's just that long line of blue from his base to his opponent's base. But now that there's a Colossus out, and Byun's only up 7 army supply, I don't think that he's going to be able to break this. And he does have his 3rd base done. He's going to look to take that as his 4th and 5th barracks do complete. Or 3rd, 4th. No, 4th and 5th barracks do complete. I can count. It's fine. So what do we have? Zoun, realizing that he's probably stabilized here, you know, unless something crazy happens. He's got double forge coming on down to try to make up for the fact that, well, his upgrades are rather late. That being said, I don't think... Yeah, there's only 1 eBay, but no upgrades here for Byun. As once again, his army's going to look to drop on top of things. Widowmines are going to really prevent these Phoenix from trying to do a lot of anti-drop activity, as we will see sentries go down. And now, well, you're lifting up into a bunch of Phoenix, but Widowmines are there, and Byun has enough on the ground that it's not really doing all that much. So Byun just really enforcing his will on Zoun on this map, even if Zoun, from a supply perspective, is actually looking rather good. Byun is just really active on the map and making it very difficult for Zoun to do what he wants. That being said, this run by is fantastic. Glaive of Depths, of course, are going to be a lot faster at killing off these mules, killing off these SCVs. So 6 workers will go on down. The entire army of Byun, we saw it a kind of F2A moved, brought on back. And this buys Zoun time, which is all that he wants. He wants time for charge. He wants time for 1-1. He wants time to get up to 4 Colossus or 3 Colossus and Disruptors. He wants time to maybe get a 4th base. He wants to stabilize because, I mean, Byun is functionally all in. Yes, he has an eBay, but he's not really doing anything with it. He doesn't have +1 underway. He's only on 3 bases. He's only on 51 workers. It's not like he's a Ghost Academy underway. It looks like he just wants to hit a big Viking timing. You got a second factory, or excuse me, a second starport underway for that. And, you know, you get 1 factory to build Vikings to deal with the Phoenix, and 1 factory, or excuse me, 1 starport to build Vikings to deal with the Colossus. And then you just kind of go on in there with 15 Vikings and hope that you can make something happen. Microwave 891, yep, absolutely. Pulling a prime indeed. Pour one out for Ghost King. Kind of ironic that the former Ghost King doesn't have any ghosts in the game, that he really needs them. But anyway, Zoun, he's going to look to get active here. His army supply is a little bit down, but he's going to have 1-1 rather soon. Charge is done in 12 seconds, which is, of course, the timing that Zoun is hitting right now. And the dearth of Vikings is a problem for Byun. He only has 4, and with these Vikings in this, or excuse me, with these Phoenix in the sky, he's making it very difficult indeed for Byun to really take this position. That, and of course, the orbital command is serving as a bit of a force field. But now Byun, he's got the fan out here. The Vikings are starting to come out 4x4, and eventually he's going to get critical mass, but those force fields are going to be absolutely ludicrous here. As Zoun, he's trying to push on through, but the bio, the stim, is looking damn good as Byun's going to look to get on top of things. The tech, the Stalkers are starting going down. The Vikings in the sky, knocking down all the Colossus of the Stalkers. They're going to blink forward, doing what they can, as the Vikings are going to have to land. How much bio is left for Byun? That is the question. It looks like actually there's almost no bio here, but Vikings, they do a pretty good job against these Stalkers, and the rally of bio is finding their way on in. It's just a bunch of Stalkers, which have 1-1, by the way. So the upgrade advantage is a really big deal, as now Byun's economy, it's starting to really take some damage here. But again, the upgrade advantage, that's the big thing. That's what we're looking at here. So we will see the Warp Prism get target fired on down. This Colossus should die as well. Even, well, okay, he's not going to commit for that, because the Adepts are going to shade on it, and they're going to force Byun back. And yeah, that push from Zoun did not win the game, but it forced Byun to make trades that he couldn't really afford to make, because now he's down once again below 50 workers. His army supply lead, not really there anymore. Well, it's about what it was. But most importantly, Zoun has bought time once again. Byun is not really in a position where he can really move across the map, where he can really exert his will on the map anymore, because again, just how much damage he took. So that means that Zoun can take a 4th base if he wants, but really, he can wait until he can get extended thermal lance. He can get his 2-2. He can take that 4th base. He can build himself up to 70 workers. He has free range on his side of the map because of the damage that he inflicted to Byun. He put Byun back down on like 110 supply. So before Byun feels comfortable moving out again, he's going to have to rebuild his Viking count. He's going to have to go and get upgrades maybe. Byun, please, get some upgrades. He's going to have to do something. Now, Disruptors are out. I almost wouldn't be surprised to see him pull the boys here, but instead he's going to lift his main on into his 4th base. I mean, you want to see a Terran player acknowledge that they're all in. This is how they do it. They don't get upgrades. They get a Ghost Academy, and they float their orbital to their 4th. And then they say, hey, I just need to build a big army. And by the way, we're talking about this as if Zoun has won this game, which is not true. Byun, despite being down in upgrades, I mean, he is doubling the army supply of his opponent, as he does lose 7 more workers. But 102 army supply to 55. He's got 9 Vikings to 2 Colossus. That's just about where you want to be. And if he moves out here before 2-2 is done, I mean, this is going to be extremely difficult for Zoun to stop. Now we're going to have the army move on in. The Vikings firing away, but I mean, this is a shield battery overcharge. You don't really want to fight into that all that much. So Zoun, he's going to be forced back for the time being. And these Disruptor shots are just zoning at this point. He's going to have an opportunity now. Disruptor 1 is going to get target fired on down. Vikings are still doing... Actually, the Vikings not doing really what they need to be right there. And that Disruptor shot, that's going to equalize everything. We talked about it doubling the army supply. It's not really there anymore. That shot that Byun took has knocked him out of this game, as he no longer has the economy to support an all-in push like this once more. He no longer has the army to support an all-in push like this. Once again, he's now down 4 upgrades. He's losing his medevacs. He's losing his Vikings. He's losing his army. The friendly fire on the Widowmine is just icing on the cake here. Now Zoun is getting ready to move out on the map. Those Colossus did not go down to the 9 Vikings. And he's guns down 50 supply. I don't know what he can possibly do. I mean, EMPs are nice, of course. They're really good against these Archons, but it's all a matter of upgrades at this point. Byun does not have a powerful enough army. GG. Zoun. He takes game number 1. And man, next time I'm home, I need to go and like grab all the StarCraft paraphernalia I have growing up so I can put it on the shelf behind me. Like I got some boomsticks from Red Bull Battlegrounds DC. And actually everything I've got is from Red Bull Battlegrounds DC. Because that's the only tournament I've ever been to. Man, it's so sad. So I went to Arizona State for 5 years, undergrad and master's there, and I was, 7 hours by car from Anaheim. Well, maybe a little more, but BlizzCon should have been pretty attainable to me, as the rabid StarCraft fan that I was. But rabid StarCraft fan that I still am. But BlizzCon was always like during midterms. And I could just never go. It was very sad. By the way, if anyone speaks Korean in chat and wants to tell me what these players are saying, I'd appreciate it. It was great when I did, it was the PC Foreman tournament. And we had Byun versus Maru in the finals. And of course, Byun and Maru, pretty good friends. Folks, I think we're going to see some... Oh, never mind. 3 barracks. I got excited because Byun does this thing where he does a 2 barracks... and he gets a 250 third base, and he represents that 3 racks pressure, and then doesn't do it, then just takes his third behind it, and is really greedy. In the PC Four-Man tournament, we had DB Double Choi interviewing for us, double DB Choi. There we go. Translating for us for interviews and things after the games. But the big deal was that he was in the lobbies with us, so he was live interviewing the banter between the 2 players as we cast it, and that was fantastic. Lots of fun there. Both players balanced whining about how strong Terran was, the deal. So, well, I would love to see what Zoun and Byun are saying in this game, but I do not speak Korean, folks. That is one of my great failings. Well, one of many. I can't do a backflip either. But anyway, we do have a gateway getting proxied here from Zoun. So he's going to go up to... This is just a 3-gate. So he's going to look to really exert a lot of pressure on Byun in this game because he was able to get some stuff done in that game number 1. But the game went late and Byun did kind of put himself in some winning positions on occasion. So now we're going to have to see whether Zoun is going to be able to get what he wants to get done here. As Byun, this cannot be good for Zoun, right? This is 3 racks, stim combat shields, against a 3-gate opener. There's a bunker in the natural. Byun is going to have a significantly higher than normal unit count at this point in the game. He's doing a really good job of hiding it. So I think that, honestly, Byun has kind of hard countered himself in this game. He's gone for this aggressive option, which is great. Sure, go for it. But, I mean, there are 14 Marines. There are 2 of them building at a time and 2 Marauders at a time. Stim is going to be done, not by the time the first push from Zoun hits, I don't think, but certainly with the follow-up. And there's a wall. Granted, it's not fully done, but whatever. I don't really see this working. I mean, this is just kind of Zoun putting himself in a really terrible spot in this game. Now, on the one hand, it does make it a little bit difficult for Byun to move out on the map. But because he knows this is 3-gate pressure, he has not seen any blink. He knows that blink is pretty far away, which now does mean that he doesn't really have to worry about that. And actually, yeah, I love this. He's just going to move out on the left-hand side. So, yeah, okay, I'm going to try to avoid your army best I can and just run onto the other side of the map. Maybe try to catch you there and maybe evaporate an army, maybe evaporate a mineral line, whatever I'm feeling like. Screw around and find out. Now, what is in that? So a couple of depths in that warp prism. We're going to try to do some counter damage. And yeah, Zoun knows what's up. So he will warp in a couple sentries just to try to make sure that he can A, segment the army, or B, just kind of keep it out. So the force fields, how good are not great. I mean, it's great, doing a great job keeping the army out, but ideally you cut that army in half. So you kill half of it, then you kill half of it. It's pretty doable. Even then, though, delaying things as well as they can does mean that eventually there's going to be a Colossus out, and Zoun should be mostly fine. But also, this is a hallmark of how Byun likes to play this three reactor opener. He doesn't overcommit. He's done this enough that he kind of knows what he can kill and knows what he can't kill. And if he's not going to be able to kill it, he's just going to kind of maintain the army, build it up, and then, well, and just have a really big army supply lead later on. So Zoun here with the Adepts, finding some nice value. Of course, 3 Adepts means that they can one salvo these SCVs. And, I mean, there's not a lot in the main base. Zoun probably could have gotten a lot more, but he's just going to back out, wants to make sure he doesn't lose too much. Wants to make sure that he can get his 3rd base, I think, is the big deal there. But honestly, once Zoun gets that 2nd Colossus out, or maybe even before, he should be able to drop the 3rd base down. Okay, so Byun, no 3rd base underway just yet, but I mean, this is going to go down at 730 realistically. The follow-up on this is that kind of +1 stim combat shield idea, which he does have, by the way. He's got all those upgrades. His army supply, he's at that nice, comfortable +20. That is what you're looking for at this point in the game. And look, Ascendant Thermal Lance, it's not done yet. It is done soon, but if Byun was hitting right now, he'd be very happy. Actually, he might be able to hit that time anyways, just because Oxide is so short. Charge is not done, +1 is not done. All of these things that Zoun wants to make sure that he can hold this push, well, they're not quite done yet. Oh, that is an Artosis pylon here. 3 gateways will get depowered as Byun look to stim on in the mineral line. 7, 8, 9 workers will go down, and behind that, I mean, there's no blink. This is a build that Zoun has opted for, where he pretty much skips the Twilight. When he gets the Twilight, well, he goes into charge because it's so late. And that means that the Stalkers cannot really look to defend that all that well. So now Byun should be able to also deny this 3rd base. There's a Colossus here, of course, but the tanks are going to look to siege on up. And Byun just really active everywhere he wants to be. So he's also going to get the Cyber Core. We can see that on the minimap. Byun look to stim on in. One Stalker will go down. The 3rd base is dead at a minimum. We have to see how much more he can get. All right, so tank sieging up here on the high ground. Now, we don't quite have the Viking number that Byun wants to be able to break this. And, you know, these 3 Adepts from a Warp Prism are causing some annoyances. They're going to be able to kill a couple SCVs, call it 3 or 4. But, you know, that's... it's not going to equalize. Zoun has just lost his 3rd base. He's now getting sieged up on his gateways. He's kind of stuck in his natural. That means the charge is done. And the Bio here is not in the best position to deal with this, as one tank will go down immediately. The Vikings are just trying to fire away what they can, but Stalker's doing a great job of target firing them down. Only 1 Viking remains, and Zoun, he's going to clean this one up with style, with aplomb. You want the Bio in front of the tanks to allow them to buffer, to allow them to serve as kind of a meat grinder for those Zealots, so you can just kind of spread out, make that happen. But now Zoun, he's on the other side of the map here. I don't know if this is the play. Byun's up an upgrade. Byun is, you know, he's going to have Defender's Advantage. He's up army supply. I don't know that Zoun is going to be able to break him here, but, I mean, there is this drop coming on in. A bunch of Zealots are going to get warped in there. There should be the defense. There we go. And now Zoun, he's kind of posturing here. He wants to try to break this. And in his favor, at the very least, there are only 2 tanks. There is only 1 Viking on the field. Maybe that's something. But I think it's more likely here that we're just going to see Zoun go in and just try to pressure this a little bit to allow him to take his 3rd base. But, I mean, I don't see any 3rd base on the map again, and Zoun may just feel like he can't afford to do that. And granted, also, I mean, Byun's 3rd base is not done yet, so it's not end of the world yet. But it soon will be, because, you know, a Terran that's up 16 workers on a Protoss player, that's up a base on a Protoss player, that's not going to work out all that well, because mules are a thing, folks. Mules are a powerful thing, and they really do a good job of equalizing a lot of these problems, or of exacerbating these problems in this case, because Byun's up, he's not down. Get knocked down. Get back up again. Something. Let's see, so we are on 2 Colossus. Zoun not opting for that 3rd one. Why is this gateway getting target fire down? Okay, was a mistake. So Zoun, he is reestablished. Okay, the nice catcher from Zoun should be able to. Oh, who's catching who? But interestingly enough, Zoun is retaking his 3rd base, but he really has not been rebuilding probes for the most part. He's doing it again. but I kind of would have expected him to just try to chrono out workers as much as possible because, again, you know, compound interest. The longer you have workers working, the better work they'll do. Okay, so scan from Byun will reveal the tech that Zoun has, if not even the number. So he will see that there are disruptors on the field. So, you know, we're not going to see, I don't think we're going to see this sneaky disruptor shot that ends the game like we saw last time. And also, I mean, in all fairness, Zoun is in a better, well, that's actually not quite true because he was at 4 upgrades when that happened. But from a supply perspective, he's in a better spot. You know, it's still just about 40-50 supply down, but he's at 2/3 of Byun's supply. He's not 50%. There's a lot of zealots on this run by us, though. So the effective army that Zoun has, not really, as Byun's got a big drop in the main base as well. What is that? 4 medevacs here, finding so much value. Target firing down the Templar Archives as well. Stark's gambling forward, do what they can. 9 workers, by the way, from Byun have died. And this is, you know, this is causing a bit of conniption for Byun. He cannot get aggressive here because these zealots are just wreaking havoc. 15 workers have died. Byun, his entire economic advantage that he's had for the last while, well, it's kind of been removed. As 23 workers will go down. Zoun, he's finally going to have that economic lead that he's looking for, but he's also down literally 50 supply. 150 to what was once 80. There are 5 tanks in this army. There are a lot of Vikings. It's just so much blue on the map right now for Byun. And Zoun is going to need some big disruptor shots to make that one happen. So we're going to have to see whether that is going to be things. Disruptor shot coming out in from the side. Bowling is going to look for... Actually, these Archons getting on top of these Vikings are going to be rather nice indeed. 1 Colossus is going to go down. The Vikings are starting to fall. 2nd Colossus will die. And no miracle disruptor shot in this game. This is not game 1. Byun, he's going to be a little bit more respectful as he will knock down the tech. He will back up. And he's going to do it again. As now I love this, dude. Liberators are on the field. Of course, Vikings are what you want against Colossus. Liberators are what you want against disruptors, just for that zone control. So Liberators coming out 2x2. Still some Vikings are maintained just to make sure. Oh, nice job there from Zoun in perfect position. He will knock down 1 medevac. Just making sure that the Colossus are not going to be much of a thing. But I guess the one thing that Zoun is going for his favor, right, is he is pretty far ahead in workers. He's up 12 workers. And, you know, sure, when Byun drops mules, that kind of spikes in Byun's favor. But in general, the overall income for Zoun in this game is going to be pretty heavily in his favor, which means if this game goes long enough, maybe Zoun is going to be able to make something happen. Maybe if he's going to be able to rebuild that army that he's lost, maybe he's going to be able to build enough supply to keep his 4th base alive and actually develop things. But, again, that's easier said than done. And looks like he's actually going to get a little aggressive here as the War Prism will not get caught. Nice job there. There's no way that Zoun breaks this, by the way. Just so we're clear, this arc from the Terran is just suicide to attack into. I mean, maybe if you force the Terran forward, you get a couple nice disruptor shots. You go from there. As the disruptors will start to get target fire. I mean, that's going to be a decent disruptor shot, but not all that much. As the Zealots are now trying to take the fight. The disruptors are out of shots now, so that means Byun can take the fight in earnest. Actually, I guess that was the last shot. But anyways, nice hot pickups here. Byun, look at this spread. He's got the front line. He's got the back line. He says, look, I can kind of win with my front line. I'm not worried about it. War Prism's going to get target fired on down as the last of these disruptors do go down. GG Byun. He's going to equalize things. And folks, it's 1-1. Here we are in the upper left. You're looking at the main base of the red Protoss player. He is tied up here. And for Alpha X, Zoun. And his opponent in the bottom right in the red. Taking game number 2 with just tremendous power. He is, for the Shopify Rebellion, Byun. And that game started with the 3 racks, where Byun didn't commit to the 3 racks. So we're gonna have to see whether he, what he wants to do. Whether he He goes for that Hellion idea that he did in the previous game where he just got nothing done, right? He went for 4 Hellions, didn't kill anything. Oh, 4 Hellions and Reaper didn't kill anything. He went for Kluk Banshees, got like a 1 probe, and then, I mean, Zoun did try to give him the game back by trying to break a Terran player that was turtling on 2 bases, but in general, Zoun kind of was wire to wire on that one, even if Byun did make a pretty good move a couple times to find his way back into the game. And then game 2, well, Byun didn't overcommit with his army, and then he was able to find value and get an upgrade up and just eventually just start trading better than Zoun, and that's kind of how you take that game. But we're in game number 3 now. Romanticide is a big map, and if you thought that last game was long, well, I feel like those last 2 games were actually fair. I think those both the last 2 games were both about 15, 16 minutes. Well, Romanticide gives us consistently the longest games that we get to watch here today, or that we get to watch in this ladder pool. And folks, the ladder season ends like early November. I just want a new ladder pool. I don't want to see these maps again. I just want every single map to be replaced, please. Romanticide hit its year anniversary like a month ago. No map should have a year anniversary in the ladder pool. It just, no, not about it. Doesn't make me happy. Oh, but yeah, you know what? Actually, this is the build I was talking about. Which we see, of course, you see it's 2 barracks, 250. I'm sorry. It's 2 barracks, 250 command center, but this is 220 command center. This is beyond going for that ultimate greed. And this build is really interesting because of what it allows. It gives you 2 win conditions. It gives you the economic win condition of, oh, look, I have my 3rd base done before 4 minutes, or just around 4 minutes. It also has the win condition of, hey, I have a lot of bio. I can stim into your base and kill you. Granted, it is weak to things. If neither of those things happen, if the Protoss realizes what's happening or just agrees the hell out, or is able to knock this army down, it certainly can lose. Don't get me wrong. But it's one of those that it's greedy in both directions, and that makes it really scary. Of course, again, it's punished by not having quick tech. Right, you're factoring you don't get any gas for, you get barely any gas for a while. Your factory and your starport are going to be rather late, you know, all that fun stuff. But, well, 2nd barracks is done. Bunker done on the low ground. 3rd base is turning to an orbital at 340. Should be an orbital 4 minutes. And then, well, Byun's going to be triple muling. Byun's going to be building 3 workers at a time. And that means this +1 stim combat shield time, or this +1 stim push, well, it's going to have a powerful economic engine behind it, to say the least. So now that we know, we've kind of talked about what Byun is going for in this game. And again, I talked about this because it's something that Byun does, but hasn't done it all that recently. We're going to have to see how Zoun chooses to counter. Now, everything's lining up here for +1 stim combat shield 7 odd minutes. Maybe 6 minutes. If we look at the timings here. But, well, I mean, Byun does have the 3rd base behind it, so his push may not be quite as strong, but again, he's going to have a lot there. Zoun, traditionally, like, you want to go 4 gates fantastic against these early 3-rack stim timings. And, well, that's exactly what we have Zoun going for. He's got a warp gate, or excuse me, a warp prism underway. He's got 4 gateways, and he's just going to look to try to kneecap this one before it really gets off the ground. Because, yeah, if Byun is allowed to get everything he wants, and it's 7 minutes, and he's got his 3 barracks, and he's got his factory, he's got his starport, he's got his 3rd base down, and he's triple muling and triple... I mean, look at this. He's up 2 workers on a Protoss player. And yeah, Zoun has cut workers, but still, he was staying pretty close, pretty fast, because again, 3 CCs that early. But we're gonna have to see whether he can hold. That's the second thing. You kind of curtail a lot of tech for this build to happen. Notice well, actually, it's gonna be a reactor on this factory, so we're not even gonna see tanks here. As now the Stalkers, they're gonna blink on forward, and the bunker's gonna go on down. Now, stim is done, which does make this a little bit more doable, but you know, every stim, that's health that is not in that army anymore. And yes, +1 is done. Combat shields are underway, but combat shields are not for a while. And combat shields really make stim worthwhile. Before then, it just doesn't feel all that great. So yeah, Zoun is just going to look to move here, exhibit some blink micro, keep warping things in, and just go from there, and just keep whittling away Byun's army. Actually, okay, so we're going to see what is in that. Stalkers on in the main bases. This army from Zoun at the front is doing a great job just keeping this bio ball of Byun incredibly low. But now we're going to see the Stalkers. They're going to go on in. They're going to say, hey, there's a 3rd base. I don't like that. That makes me uncomfortable. And, I mean, theoretically, Zoun, because of what's happening, should be able to break this, right? It's a Terran that went 220, excuse me, third base. And actually, this base may go down. No, the SCVs are going to be in position to be able to fix that one on up. That's still money. And actually, yes, Stark's going to blink on in. They're going to knock down a lot of SCVs trying to make this happen. Are they going to be able to make this SCV die? I don't think so. I think this SCV should still be alive, but still, we're starting to see SCV death in copious numbers. Now the Stark is moving on in one cohesive force. Knocking down these medevacs would be fantastic because, I mean, they're trying to recoup all the health that Byun has taken over the course of this game. But now Byun, he's feeling pretty confident. He's got his medevacs, he's got his +1, he's got his stim, he's got his combat shields, and this timing that Zoun was looking for, well, it's not really there. I mean, yes, we have 3 Stalkers in the main base and 4 Stalkers, 1-shot SCV. That's great. Good for you, Zoun. You haven't killed Byun. Byun has a 3rd base. He's up on workers compared to you. He has been up on economy compared to you for like this entire game. And this is the danger of this build. Is what makes it so cool. There you go. Armory underway, second eBay underway. Byun has weathered the storm, and now he is really in a great economic position, even as his 3rd base only goes down at 730. But I mean, he had triple mule. He was triple building SCVs, which is honestly just as important as getting your base on location. He weathered the storm. I believe he's lost less. Oh, okay, he's lost a little bit more. Okay, so where does Zoun stand right now? He's not down tremendously in army supply. Really, his big deficit is in upgrades. As Byun's about to be on 1-1, right around the time his +1's going to be. And again, Byun, he's got 2 base. He can build 2 upgrades at a time. So Byun will kind of be in a similar position that Zoun was in game number 1, where he will be leading on upgrades for the majority of this game. There we go. An observer will get caught and target fired on down. But, well, charge is just about done. +1 is just about done here for Zoun as well. So it's not like Byun's going to have a 2 upgrade lead for this next attack. And he does have a lot of classes. Extended Thermal Lance is a thing. So realistically, I don't know how much Zoun is really going to be able to break Byun here. It looks like, yeah, Zoun's getting ready for his own run by. He's got a bunch of Zealots warping in on the bottom side. So what Byun's going to do, I think, is he's going to show his army on the right side. And he's going to say, hey, Zoun, you should go rotate on in and defend this. And when he does that, it's going to be big bio run by going to come on in. So the entirety of Zoun's army is actually doing a really good job of this positioning from Zoun is fantastic. Byun is not really going to be able to accomplish what he wants. And of course, Zealots on into the 3rd base, Zealots into the main base, causing some consternation here for Byun, as he will start to lose some of that economy that he has worked so hard to maintain. And now the Warp Prism, yep, it's not target firing that one down. So these Zealots in the 3rd base, they're finding some tremendous values. They will get an eBay. 5 workers do go down, distracting Byun here. And okay, Vikings. Byun needs Vikings anyway. So getting this Viking rallied on out to knock the War Prism down is going to be rather nice indeed. As yeah, this War Prism should be mostly done for. His time on this map is mostly done, and there we go. The Zealots on the left side will be found out by the rest of Byun's army. But remember, this is bot Zoun time. Once again, we were talking about this game 1, where Zoun's like, look, I don't care what happens. I just want to survive. In this game, well, he's kind of the same thing. Again, his upgrades are a little bit later, but he has Chrono. So this game goes late enough, he's going to be in a pretty happy spot. But Byun does have his 4th base underway. He's got a Viking there, I think, just patrolling the dead airspace on the right side to make sure the War Prism is not really going to be able to go on in. And this 4th base is dead. And the army is not in position for that. We've been talking about, again, Zoun's really good position all game, and that is generally true, but you know, when you're down 40 army supply, it's kind of hard to defend everywhere at once. So drop coming on into the main base here. Nice feedbacks on top of all of these medevacs. It means there's just not going to be a lot of healing for Byun in this army. He's losing medevacs, which means he's not going to be able to do all that much. On the right side, he's not really finding value either, as the Archons are just doing such a great job of soaking up all the damage, and the Colossus firing strong. Meanwhile, of course, we have Zealots running on in to this 3rd base. 7 SCVs will die. Zoun taking no damage, doing damage on the other side of the map. Fantastic little sequence here for the Korean Protoss player. And his Dark Shrine's just about done. There's going to be more where that came from. He's going to be able to continue to get aggressive. He's going to be able to continue to exert his dominance on the map. But that may not even be relevant. So Byun appears to have, interestingly enough, Byun has forgotten his +1 armor, or his +3 armor, which is something he kind of tends to do in general, but we will have Zoun looking to move on in now, and as the supplies are equal, Zoun is 1 upgrade behind, but he's going to be 1 upgrade, or he's going to be equal upgrades rather soon. Disruptor shot, Byun! You got to pay attention, you're going to lose everything! And now Byun's 20 army supply down. All of a sudden, Stalkers, they're going to blink on forward here, knocking down Vikings, knocking down Medivacs, and this is Zoun's timing where he really can do things. That armor upgrade doesn't really make that big of a deal here because he doesn't have that many zealots in the army. Stalkers, they're going to blink on forward, knocking down what they can. And Zoun, he is absolutely breaking Byun the disruptor shot in game 1, in game number 3. That's all it took, folks. So nothing zany. I thought for a second I saw double gas from Zoun, but that's not happening. And I mean, it makes sense. This is 2,000 atmospheres. This is arguably the most standard map that we have in the pool right now. As by the way, folks, I've been streaming for 420. Nice. 4 hours and 20 minutes. But anyway, yeah, this is arguably one of the most standard maps in the pool. Romanticide, you know, also maybe has that moniker, but Romanticide is just so fortress-like. It's just so turtle-heavy that I'm not sure if I would consider that standard as much. You know, it's just a much more eco-focused map. But yeah, 2,000 atmospheres, you can actually kill your opponent if they're behind. You know, for the most part. So we're gonna have to see what exactly Zoun and Byun go for. We've seen Byun throw the whole gamut of early barracks plays. Some have worked, some have not. And this one, he's gonna take a little bit of a page from Special, as he's going for that reactored Reaper idea with a second barracks behind it. Is he gonna save up for the third? Okay, no, it's just 3 racks behind this. But these Reapers really interesting. This Reaper play is really interesting. Because by, you know, getting Reactor into Double Reaper, whatever you want, it A, means you're more likely to catch the Scout from the Protoss player. B, we were talking about this when I think he got, was it Special maybe? Special against Trigger. They got really delayed Reapers. You hit this timing where no one's really expecting it. So then you can get more damage done than you would if you got hit at the standard time. Because, you know, the Protoss player is maybe looking for a Reaper at a minute 30. They're not looking for a double Reaper at 3 minutes. But of course, the shield battery's there, and that really should. Yeah, these Reapers are not going to get much done. Now, Zoun, for his part, he's got a Stargate underway. So, most likely Phoenix play. He's going to get an Oracle, but we've talked about this. Oracles are not all that great against Terran from just a pure, I'm going to do economic damage perspective. Again, 3 ticks. Top level Terrans are very good at making sure that doesn't really get a lot done. Shout out to the time, of course, when Oracles just eviscerated Terran mineral lines to the point where they had to get nerfed against Terran in particular. Actually, a lot of things has been true about Terran SCVs, where they used to die a lot easier than they do now. I mean, Adepts used to 2-shot them. Oracles used to 1 or 2-shot them. It was a lot easier to kill SCVs, and then they got 5 extra HP. And it was a little sad. But okay, look at this second Oracle underway, and we got a Twilight behind. Is he going to go double Oracle into Phoenix Glaive once again? I can't imagine. It's very much a one-off build. We're going to have to see as 2 SCVs will go down before it's going to be forced on out. Nice job there from Zoun. Okay, so Blink is underway as he gets up to, what's he on? 1 warp. He's got 3 gates. 3-gate Blink behind this Stargate. And there's a 3rd base. Okay, so this is just kind of a defensive 3-gate Blink. Wait, Blink? Oh, he's going to cancel Blink. Okay. I don't know if that was intentional or not. I got to assume it was. And I imagine this is because he knows what Byun is going for. He saw the 3-gate barracks. He's like, okay. Yeah, I can't afford Blink here. I'm surprised he's going for the 3rd base, although, you know what I think Zoun's doing with this, actually? So there's this concept in life. It's an idiot magnet. You throw something out there, and it's like a honeypot, right? You say, yes, go after this thing. And in doing so, because you expect him to go after the thing, you catch him. Oh, I love this stasis trap too. But anyway, Byun's not going to look to stim on in. There's a shield battery here, but no shield battery overcharge is going to be a thing. So Byun's just going to stim on top of that, knocking down a good majority of this army. But with warp-ins and with 3 gates being done, that's going to be the end of it. So yeah, he's going to lose some stalkers, he's going to lose some adepts, but that's going to be a grand total of that. And by the way, the stasis trap on the other side of the map, it got it. It did the good thing. Unfortunately, we can't see everything happening at once, but absolutely clutch there. Meant that there was going to be no rally from Byun coming on in, which of course does mean that Zoun was in a fantastic position. So Oracle's going to find a little bit more value as they do run out of energy. 2 more workers will go down. Byun now down 9 workers as no third base underway. In fact, he's got his factory and his starport's not even done. And now Zoun feels comfortable enough to get his blink. Now he's like, look, I've held enough. Army supply is somewhat equal. We're fine here. Your next rally is not going to be as... Your third rally is. When you have +1, that's going to be a little bit scary. But right now, it's just stim and combat shields. I defended that supply down. Now I'm supply equal. I'm going to have blink eventually. It's fine. It's going to be more than enough. And Zoun, he kept his third base. I didn't think he was going to be able to do so, but he kept his third base alive, really, with that stasis trap. Great job. And now, I mean, he's in a great spot. He's up 15 workers. He's got blink underway. He's got Colossus tech coming down eventually. There's going to be a forge. And Byun, yep, he's just going all in here in this game number 4. It's going to get scouted. Zoun is going to see the extra 2 barracks. This is 5 racks. Well, as I say that, third CC is going down. So, maybe not. Maybe this... I don't know whether this was Byun's plan the entire time. I got to assume it was just more of a, oh, crap. Zoun has scouted me. I'm not going to be able to make this 5 racks work anymore. I guess I better make a third base. Because generally you get your 4th and 5th racks after you get that third base. Again, it's just a matter of you want your economy just a little bit faster than you want added production. And I don't know if you can fully support 5 barracks production off 511 off of 2 bases. Anyway, Byun now he's going to try... Oh, the stalkers. Stalkers, they're going to see it? No, they won't. Okay. Or they're not going to be in perfect position. The medevac won't go onwards. But let's see. Colossus is 2/3 of the way done. This army on the high ground, not all that scary right now, but hey, you know what? Stasis traps. They're pretty gosh darn good. They already worked once here for Byun. Will he see this one? Yes, he will. So stasis trap is going to get triggered there, but that has bought the time. Once again, this has been a game. This has been a series of seconds of Byun just trying to hold until he gets his next level of tech. Every time, and this Colossus being out just makes this hold so much easier, but you got to be careful. Shield battery overcharge is going to keep everything alive. Oracles are going to pop their pulsar beams, trying to do what they can, and shield battery overcharge, again, it's keeping things alive. So Byun now going to rotate on into that third base, but this rally is kind of inconsistent. Now we're going to see the army try to stem on top of this Colossus, not going to be all that successful, as there we go, the Widow Mines are going to go down as well. The supply lead that Byun had that he was trying to leverage into a push in this game is not really there anymore. Zoun, he's got charge underway now. Extended Thermal Lance just about halfway done. His second Colossus just about finished. He's still mining off of his third base. His economy has been 1,200 resources ahead for the last 5 minutes. Last 3 minutes. Call it good. So Byun, as much as I said, well, he's taking a third base, he's not technically all in. He is still very much all in here in this game, just from an economic perspective. Because now the Oracles, they're going to run on the other side of the map. They're going to try to find some damage, but a lot of their energy has been used elsewhere. Stalkers blink forward. 1 medevac will go down. That force fields are going to be fantastic. A couple Marauders, a couple Marines will go down. And now look at the supply. Zoun 150-ish, Byun 120. Zoun up 17 workers. He's up a little bit of army supply. And once he has his +1, once he has his charge, once he has that 4th Colossus, once he has that 3rd Colossus, he may move across the map and just try to break Byun, and I will not blame him. That being said, he is rather intensely supply blocked. His 5 pylons going down. Oh god, I need supply moment there. So it's gonna be fine. Going to go up to like 190, 173. Yeah, like what is that? Yeah, I was right. Going up to 190 free supply. 189. Okay. This is why we don't do math on stream, folks. It's a mistake. Don't do it. Math. Not even once. But let's see here. We have Byun realizing that he's never going to be able to take a straight up fight against this army, at least not for a while. Oh, interesting. We do have Zoun going to 4 Colossus. I do like that, just considering the position that he knows Byun is in. Byun knows that he's really not going to be able to take this fight for a while. So we have this army on the left, army on the right. He's just really looking to split his opponent apart, hope that he splits his army wrong, and then maybe he can take a good engagement. But this map vision from Zoun is impeccable. He's got observers all over the place. He's got scouting pylons all over the place. So he kind of knows where Byun's army is, which means that he's not worried about it. And instead, we talked about this timing he can maybe hit where he's going to be massively up on everything. Well, instead, 2-1 underway. He's going to take his 4th base, and I like that too. Win ahead, get more ahead. Zoun has shown us the ability to win the late game when he's in a winning position. And I mean, he is. Granted, right now his upgrades are lower. He's at +1 versus 1-1, but he's gonna have 2-1 rather soon. He's got disruptors on the way. He's adding that second robo. His 4th base just about done, and he's now in his position now where he can be really active on the map with these zealots. Just run them on into bases as as Byun tries to do things on the map. Again, oracles really allow you to do that because it allows them to keep tabs of where this army is. Although the added addition of Vikings means these oracles probably eventually going to go on down. Now we have the zealots. They will, I believe, that denied a 4th base attempted, or at least an SCV that was thinking about it. So Byun, he's going to bring his entire army back home. And we've been talking about this. This has actually really just been a common theme. There's a recall. So 1 adept. Yeah, 1 zealot will go down. This has really been a common theme of this series where it's Zoun just looking for his timings. Where Zoun trying to not die, trying to survive, do what he can for another minute, for another 30 seconds, for another whatever it is, to make sure that he gets that advantageous upgrade, to make sure that he gets the 4th base fully mining, whatever it is. Really, it's just been a game of Zoun playing by, hanging on by a fingernail until he's able to hit that timing where he's suddenly insanely powerful. So now disruptor shots flanking in, coming on in, forcing the bio into the lancing arms of these Colossus. And there are not a lot of Vikings. There are only, what, 5 Vikings on the field right now. And we got a stasis trap coming on. Oh, it's going to get triggered by something. Oh, no. Oracle just got killed. But now Zealot's going to look to run on into the 3rd base. And once again, there is that flanking disruptor just kind of sitting there, looking to convince Byun that there's nothing to worry about. It's fine. 6 SCVs do go down. But Byun has kind of been able to stabilize. I mean, economically, not really. But he's building his army back up again. He's got 2-2 underway. But yeah, there's going to be a timing where he's going to have an upgrade lead. He's going to have 2-2 versus 1-2 or versus 2-1. And you know what? This 4th game, it's funny how series work like this, where you got, a couple games where even if the game goes late, you got one player pretty solidly ahead. And then you get to game 4, you get to game 5, and whether it's because it's game 5 and another player wants to lose, or, it's just later games and players have a better kind of estimation of each other, suddenly the games get a lot closer, they get a lot better. And that's kind of what we're looking at here is this game is intensely close. Yeah, economically, Byun is suffering, but I believe he's also, he's lost a little bit more. But he's also mined a lot more. Even with that economic deficit, because mules are a thing. Well, actually, no, that's not even true. He's just got a cheaper army. Here we go. And he's just not committing to tech as much, although he does have enhanced shockwaves now, so his EMPs are going to be fantastic. And there we go. 3-3 underway for Byun. Zoun, he's got 3-2. And I love the addition of observer speed here. Just wait, is that a? I'm never. I forget. Is that observer speed? Is that or prism speed? Never totally sure. Anyway, disruptor shot's going to be great here. Stalkers, they're going to find a couple medevacs for free as the buyers looking to stem on in. Disruptor shots are going to do what they can, but they're just going to get rallied into the army. Byun has found his fight. But whether it be just because he's found his fight does not mean it's going to win. That being said, the Colossus, they're running home. They're trying to do what they can. Zoun just playing a backing action. He tries to get back to the safe auspices of his static defense. The safe aegis, of his static defense, and he will be able to do so. But that was a fight. If Byun was ever going to find one, that was the one he was looking for. All the disruptors running on into his army that he could target fire them down. Colossus not really firing, running away to try to save their own skins. And now Zoun, yeah, he's got a bank. He doesn't have a lot of gas, but he just certainly has a mineral bank. I see his up bases here. His army is not scarier than Byun's anymore. He's still in a good spot, don't get me wrong, but Byun kind of equalizing the game with that as we will have these random disruptors. Once again, I love where we're at in the meta right now. We used to have, of course, random flanking High Templar for flanking storms. Parting, of course, was the one that was brilliant at that. But now we're at the point where, again, High Templar are not great. Enhanced shockwaves too good. Terrans are too good at finding those EMPs. But if you put a disruptor there, and you buffer for it with maybe a little bit of something. Suddenly, that's something that Terran has to really stim into and kill to prevent the damage, not just land an EMP. And it really just plays havoc with how the Terran wants to take the fight. So, pretty cool that we get to see that. As now, the Zealot is going to run on... It's going to find... that's just going to get Ghost. No big deal. Now, Zoun, for the next 30 seconds, is going to have a 1 upgrade lead. And then Byun's going to have a 1 upgrade lead, and then eventually... they're all going to be tied up, and we're going to start to see, of course, shields underway. Which, of course, is not all that impactful in this matchup. You get shields, and it just gets stripped away by EMPs. Shields just does shield armor. It doesn't actually give you more shields. So, you know. Anyway, we're going to have the... Byun's going to just find one disruptor really easily. That's going to be fantastic. Because now he's going to try to find his way on in. EMP is doing a really good job of knocking these Archons down. But we should remember, of course, that Byun... he doesn't have a lot of Vikings. So these Colossus are standing rather strong indeed. This is run by... is the real story of this time in the game. We're starting to see a bunch of SCVs go on down. The Zealots are tanky mothers, and the decent amount of them should be able to escape as well. 11 SCVs will go down. The Zealots are going to try to knock down that rich supply depot, and should be able to do so. Yeah, it's going to burn down. There we go. So I don't think this is going to supply block Byun necessarily, but knocking down a bunch of rich supply is always rather nice. So now Byun getting ready for a big drop here on the right-hand side, which means these Stalkers can actually jump on top of the rest of this army. A Ghost will go on down, but that's not a position you want to fight into. And not at all. That's just a massive choke there for the Terran player. As Byun, again, we saw that drop head on out. He's going to try to find this position on the left-hand side where it looks like Zoun wants to expand. He's not going to be allowed to do that. And in fact, I kind of wouldn't mind to see Zoun start expanding vertically on the right side. Because, I mean, that's kind of where he's playing anyways. Now, Byun, he's going to find his way on in, but this is a dead army. He's not going to... I don't think he's going to be able to get the base. There we go. Stalker's targeting medevacs down. This is a lot of supply here for Byun to trade on out, but he's trading fairly decently, and this has bought him time to rotate on over with the rest of his army onto the right-hand side. But, of course, Zoun, his map control is insane. And he's going to be able to knock down... he's going to know exactly where Byun's army is. So as these games get late, it makes us start to beg the question, how does this game end? Well, a bunch of DTs blink on top of a base. That's always going to be rather nice indeed. There we go. 1 swipe, 2 swipe, 3 swipe. It's all dead. And that's going to be rather nice because, again, Zoun has had a really, really good economy pretty much for the entirety of the game, certainly in compared to what Byun has. And Byun has just been able to stay in the game by superior positioning and by taking fairly decent trades when the time is. But now that Byun's only on, well, right now 3 bases, he's going to get fourth in a second. Life's getting a little bit difficult for our Terran player. There we go. Yeah, we do see Zoun just attack on the... oh, God. Byun will target fire that one down, but not the second one. The rest of these disruptor shots won't exactly land. But, okay, Colossus is going to go down too. So Byun's actually going to be fairly happy with that one. Oh, but there's the DT is going to blink on in. EP is going to get forced, but this army is going to get wiped now. A bunch of Archons are going to get morphed because DTs are not really useful as DTs anymore. But this is maybe Zoun's timing, but his army is kind of lagging behind here. So now the Archons looking to move on in. Zealot's trying to do what they can, and now the Disruptors are here. Zoun finally pressing his way in, and GG, he takes it 3-1 in a 19-minute game. This has been the best series of the night, and holy hell, Zoun, he's now got a date with Special in the Grand Finals.